Task number 17 in the PTE Academic. This is the listening fill in the blanks. Yes, another fill in the blanks. Since so many tasks are named fill in the blanks, obviously they're going to add something else to this name, and they added type in. So obviously you're going to have to type something in. But that wasn't the only change. They also removed the writing points. We used to give writing points from this task. Yes, even though we still do need to write, you will only get listening points now. So I would say it's not as important as before because now you only get listening points. Yes, you do get a decent amount of listening points, but in the PTE now, there are so many tasks that can give you listening points. And speaking has like half of those listening points. All right, so this would not be one of the most important tasks for listening points. All right, but again, in this tutorial, I'm going to give you an overview. I'll give you an overview to what the listening, fill in the blanks, type in task is, and then of course, I'm going to talk about the scoring. Again, as you can see, this is one of those binary questions. And then obviously, I'm going to talk about time management. Y'all ready? Let's get into it. Here is the rundown for the listening fill in the blanks, type in. You will be given 2 to 3 of these questions. Each question will have 4 to 6 blanks. Each correct answer is worth 1 point for the listening. There are no negative markings in this task, so always type something into the blank. You can spend about 1 minute on each question after the lecture. I have 2 takeaways. Yes, you can spend about 1 minute after the lecture to try to answer the questions correctly, meaning check your spelling, check your grammar, check your answers, right? Hopefully you don't take that much time, but if needed, try not to go over 1 minute because that's going to take time away from the last task. And 2, there are no negative markings here. So sometimes you might not hear something or you might think, nah, this can't be right. Something is better than nothing. Just write it in there. Take a chance. You have nothing to lose. All right? For now, let me show you what this task looks like. This is a screenshot from the official PTE mock exam. This is the closest we're going to get to seeing what the task looks like on the real exam. Again, you're going to have the audio player, just like all of the other listening tasks. Below that, you're going to have a little paragraph with blanks inside. What you want to do is listen to the lecture and hear the words that belong into the blank. Yes, the words need to be spelled correctly in order for you to get the point, so make sure you check your spelling. You can also use grammar to try to identify the form of the word you should be using. Always be aware of how many tasks you have remaining and how much time you have left because, again, you do not want to run out of time for the last task. When you're happy with your answers, press the next button. So it's really up to you on how you want to take down the answers. The reason why I say that is because you can write it down first or you can type it directly into the blank. It's up to you. Now, I myself, I write it down. I don't like to type because I don't type very well. All right. But if you prefer typing, just know that most of the time, going from one blank to the next blank, all you have to do is press tab. So if you type your answer into this blank and you're ready to go to the next blank, you can just press tab. However, not every test center allows you to do that. For some reason, there are test centers where the tab button doesn't work. So if you require or you rely on the function of tab, when you start the listening fill in the blanks, that's the first thing you do. You check to see if the tab button is working. If it is not working, you need to have plan B. You need to know what to do, right? Because I don't want you to panic when you're in the middle of the listening fill in the blanks. Type in, okay? But now, in the meantime, let's take a look at how we get points. Let's take a look at the score guide. Once again, very straightforward. We've seen all of this on the same page, so we're just moving down to fill in the blanks, type in. We're going to get 2 to 3 of these questions. Once again, you're going to get 1 point for each correct word spelled correctly. You see, you got to spell it correctly. And again, there's no negative markings, so take a chance. So the reason why I say take a chance is because even if you write the wrong word, you're not going to lose anything. You don't get a negative point, right? But if you happen to write the right word, boom, we get an extra point. Now, even though, it's not as important as before, we still want to try to get points here. So that's why as far as time management goes, we will use a little bit of time to try to make sure we get points here. Because again, we manage our own time, so try not to spend more than 1 minute here. Because this is technically not one of the most important tasks. So we want to get points here, but we don't desperately need it, because that last task will give you so many more points. All right, so minimize the amount of time, 1 minute maximum, and then move on. All right, so of course, when we get to technique and strategy, we'll be practicing this using grammar as well to help us identify the word form. For now, I just wanted to make sure you understand that this is one of the tasks where we can spend a little bit of time. Now, are you ready for the next task? Let's go.